Hello everybody and welcome! What do I hear you say? Another series? Yes indeed, I have decided to do my Purple Pain series and this one, titled Jab Lost His Keys, simultaneously. So while all the Purple Pain things are going on, in the meantime I also decided to launch a Jool 5 mission. For those of you who don't know, a Jool 5 mission is a mission where you visit the planet Jool and all of its 5 moons, land on each of those planets and return home to Kerbin. And yeah, this is our first really clean stage separation. And yeah, we're already circularizing this little beast. This here is called the Naginata and it's supposed to deliver the crew to Jool, and here it's releasing its kind of proctologically inspired booster stage. Yeah, I know how it looks, so I can't imagine what you're going to write in the comments. Okay, so this is the main vehicle, but of course we need a lander. So, what kind of lander could we do? So here we got a little thing I call the Yajiri. Well, the Yajiri is... well, it's an SSTO that is also capable of other things, let's call it that way. And due to the way landing gear works nowadays, it's wobbling all over the place. Yeah! Okay, but first we have to get this thing into orbit, and that's why I'm using that really big engines on the wings. Okay, the reason why the series is titled Jab Lost His Keys, well, Jab was one of the Kerbals that went on the Joolish Commission way back on Kerbal Space Program. Well, it didn't have a lot of things like resources and drills and communications and whatnot. Well, it's been a long while since then. Anyhow, Jab has been on those moons, or at least on one of those moons, and somewhere along the way he forgot his keys. So ever since then he had to hang out at the Kerbal Space Center and could not get home. So finally, the operators of the space program took pity on that poor little green soul and decided to put together another mission to Jool. Also, it was time to test out some new equipment, like new science modules and also those nice little communications arrays. And yeah, while we have been talking about that, the Yajiri, on its own you may have noticed it has a small probe core inside. No crew is involved up to this point. The Yajiri is already moving into orbit and is now setting up its rendezvous with the main craft, the Naginata. You may have already noticed that both names are derived from Japanese. Yajiri was, well, is kind of the tip of an arrow, so to speak, and the Naginata was a big lance type of thing that fighters back then used. Well, there's still people who practice that skill, but fortunately they don't hack off their limbs anymore. I hope. So yeah, the Yajiri is now docking with Naginata, and now you can guess why I'm using this really weird contraption of a hangar or docking bay. Well, it is supposed to keep the plane centered of the vehicle, so I have to keep it somewhere in the middle. There's also another reason that you'll see in a future episode. So here we got another look at our nice little lander SSTO type of thingy. And then it's time to send up some more fuel and also some more Kerbals. And here we go, this is nothing special, really just a small little rocket with capability for 8 Kerbals and some leftover fuel or spare fuel for refueling the Yajiri, because it is going to need every drop of fuel that it can take for the missions that it is going to get to. There's also a reason why the Yajiri is capable of flying on its own. The reason being, I would really like to use scientists to get on the planets, well, not planets, moons of the Jool system and get the maximum science bonuses and also restore the science compartments like the Junior and the Mystery Goo. However, scientists are not capable to plan maneuver nodes, so I installed a probe core on the Yajiri and I hope that it will be in range with the Naginata, which has a huge relay dish on its bow, as you may have already noticed, and then be in contact with a pilot, Jeb, on that Naginata. Okay, now, so we've put ourselves already in a bit of an eccentric orbit so that our transfer burn to Jool would not take too long. In total, it's about, well, 2000 meters per second of delta V to get away from Kerbin and get a rendezvous with Jool. And that's what we're doing right now, and this took quite a while. You can see I'm already, there we go, we've ditched those external tanks that were used to supply some fuel. And once we've done that, we can already get our encounter with Jool and we'll arrive there in a few years. So this is it for the first episode of Jeb Lost His Keys. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. Goodbye.